What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Dragon Ball Legends video, Dragon Ball Central. Today, we are going to be talking about what I believe to be the best 4 teams for the Battle Royale tournament that's going on, probably when you're watching this video. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So guys, before we actually get into the 4 teams I want to talk about today, I think it's kind of important to note that we are going to probably have to have the characters that we're using in the tournament. We have got no confirmation on that as far as, just how it's going to work with the tournament, how we're going to build teams for the tournament, things like that. But I have to imagine that we're probably going to have pulled the actual characters themselves to be able to use them in the tournament, but then they'll be maxed out once we actually make a team with those characters. So keep that in mind when you're deciding what team you're going to be playing with. Get some practice in, play some casuals, play some, actual ranked up towards the end of this season, and see if you can get yourself ready to get some solid wins and maybe take home a free trip to Las Vegas for a tournament. That'd be really cool. If any of you guys actually do well enough to win, please let me know. I want to cheer you guys on in the tournament. But with that said, we're going to be going over my matches on videos, so keep an eye out for that very soon. I do want to go ahead and get into this video, though, okay? Let's stop stalling real quick. So first and foremost, I think the obvious inclusion here for the first team everybody's going to be expecting, but not necessarily the best team, is going to be the Saiyan team, the Trinity team, the Super Saiyan team. You know what I'm talking about right now. We have got Bardock. We are Super Saiyan Bardock. Important to distinguish. We've also got Super Gogeta, and then we've got Super Broly. All 3 of which are very, very powerful in their own right. Definitely were meta-defining, especially when Super Broly just came out. And I do think there's an argument for saying that these guys are going to be competitive. You can never really account for the feints that you're going to be getting. You can never account for the crit rate ups that are going to actually connect and that you're going to be able to get lucky a few times in a row, take out a character you might not have otherwise taken out, and then be able to sort of snowball that into a game. Now, you can never take that into account. You can never really say, okay, I'm going to be able to beat this team without a shadow of a doubt 100% of the time. But you can say that in most cases, you will be able to beat this team in particular with the next 3 teams I'm going to be talking about. Now, first and foremost, we have got Mono Purple. Now, that's featuring... Obviously, I have not played this team, okay? As you guys can see, the main dude that makes it work now after the buff, Turtle, is here. I've only got him at level 1500. Have not played this team, but I've seen it used, and I've seen it used well. It's a very, very powerful team when used properly. Turles is absolutely incredible. Being maxed out at 7 stars is going to be a huge bonus to him. Additional stats and additional Z-power upgrades, or Z-ability upgrades, rather. And absolutely just dominant when you do have a player that knows how to properly use his special skills, his extra arts card. And it's just going to be ridiculous to deal with in any case. So really, guys, this is going to be one of the better teams, I think. I'd imagine we're probably going to see this played quite a bit. Now, there are 2 other teams that I want to go over real quick, though, because I do think that they are going to be the best teams to play in this particular tournament. Now, keep in mind that I'm saying these based on my own opinion, okay? So I might not be totally right in this. And on top of that, this is not sort of taking into account what's going to be played the most. But if I were to take that into account, the 2 teams I think are going to be the best would be even better. Now, I just want to say, just to throw it out there, I do think Trinity is going to be the most played team this tournament. I have to imagine that people that counter Trinity are going to be the most successful in this tournament. So with that said, we have got one of our 2 final teams to discuss right now, Regen, featuring Evil Boo. Now, Evil Boo is not a necessity for this team, but it does make it much, much better, and especially going to be able to counter this particular team, which again, I'd imagine you're going to see a lot of Mono Purple featuring Fury Broly. And that's going to be countered directly and significantly by this particular regen team, which has Pure Evil Boo on it. Because you're going to be able to run DKP. You're going to be able to run Pure Evil Boo. You're going to be able to run Zamasu or Piccolo, depending on the situation. If you're running against Mono Purple, obviously, probably not going to be using Piccolo. You're probably going to go for Zamasu. And in most cases, I'd imagine you're actually going to go for Zamasu. Honestly, I could see him not being used in the mirror match, but really, guys, there aren't a lot of better options. You have your normal Boo here, Fat Boo. I don't think that he's going to be that great. I think that he has some good options in the mirror match against a regen team if it's identical. But otherwise, guys, I have to say, in most cases, you're probably going to be using Zamasu. You're probably going to be using Pure Evil Boo. In most cases, I want to say in almost every single case. Maybe Mono Green. If you go up against a Mono Green team, maybe you don't want to use Pure Evil Boo. But otherwise, guys, very, very powerful team. Not a lot of weaknesses. And honestly, if you look at all of the advantages it does have, it's really just ridiculous. You go over to Zamasu, he has a unique ability that takes away, first off, some of the damage he's going to be taking. He's going to be able to heal right back up, which is fantastic. 30% damage buff to Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan, which is such a general tag, so generic that you're going to be able to take and get extra damage off against, future teams. You're going to take extra damage against Saiyan teams, Super Saiyan teams, anything like that, and it's going to be very, very powerful. And all in all, guys, another thing you want to mention here is that Majin Buu, pure evil Majin Buu here, is going to actually have anti-regen himself. That gives you a 50% blast damage inflicted increase against regen tag characters, which means that in the mirror match, you're going to be able to take him against Zamasu and absolutely destroy Zamasu. If you're the better player, you should not be losing a mirror match with a pure evil Majin Buu on your team. It just shouldn't be happening because it's that powerful. It's that broken. And, I know a lot of you guys took issue with me saying that he's overpowered, but honestly, I feel like he is busted. He is overpowered. He's the best EX in the game for sure, no doubt in my mind. And I think you guys are going to see having two cover characters, having Zamasu, having Piccolo on your team, having two covers on your team is going to be very, very powerful. It's going to be very hard to deal with because you're going to be able to switch out to either one depending on if you want to be type neutral or type advantage. If you're at a disadvantage on the switch in from your opponent, and then you're going to be able to switch in when you get your first hit off. You get a strike, you switch immediately into pure evil Buu, you do a whole bunch of damage with him, and then you switch back out once your combo runs out and you use your vanish. So yeah, guys, the regen team is pretty much without a fault here. I can't say that it has many counters. It's very, very powerful. There's not a lot you can do against it. The team that would be able to take it out has been irrelevant for a long time. So all in all, guys, I have to recommend that you definitely play this team if you are good at regen teams. If you're good at playing with Evil Buu, if you know how the flow of gameplay works with it very well, you have it down to muscle memory, definitely play this regen team. With that said, I think it's kind of important to note here that the best team is most likely going to be the one that you've put the most time into understanding. There's a lot of nuance in gameplay with this game in particular, a lot of nuance in how you're going to be sequencing certain main abilities, ultimates, specials, extra skill arts, all of those sorts of things. And you have to sequence them perfectly every single time if you're playing at the top level here. So obviously you want to play the best characters, but you also want to play a team that you know well. And that's what I'm going to be getting into next, going to be the Lineage of Evil team. You guys know I had to include this team. I've made it no secret that the Lineage of Evil team is my favorite team in the game. Final Form Cooler is one of my favorite characters in the Dragon Ball universe as a whole. Chilled plays so well. And on top of that, we got Final Form Frieza, who after the buff is absolutely ridiculously powerful. Before the buff, he was very powerful. After the buff, he's just an absolute boss. So really, guys, what you're looking at here is great synergy on the team. You're going to be able to sacrifice one of your characters into a massive buff for the rest of your team, which is very, very useful. If you get Rising Rush and then you're going to be able to take out Cooler, then switch Cooler into Final Form Frieza with the buff on top of that. And I've had it happen quite a few times. It's always fun, guys, because even when you have a red character that gets switched in against your Final Form Frieza, no, he's not going to do well against it. Enough damage buffs, and you generally just don't have a great time against Final Form Frieza, no matter what color combination you're going for here. And really the only issues that I've had are Zamasu, sort of going back to the fact that, again, I would recommend playing Regen. Very powerful team. Very, very nice in this particular meta to have all of the powers that that team and all the utility that that team does have. But again, Lineage of Evil, just a fantastic team. Having the crit rate up, having that extra buff against Super Saiyans for the chilled buff when he does go down to a Rising Rush or whatever else, and then being able to take down a whole bunch of opponents with Final Form Frieza is extremely satisfying. Just a powerful team all around. Definitely consider running it. Now, I do want to mention something really quickly here, because there might be some oddball teams nobody expects to do well that do very well, and there is a good reason for that. I'll leave it up to you to figure out exactly what characters I'm talking about when I say this, but there are a few characters in this game that are very difficult to use properly. Characters that have very unique abilities, or otherwise they're going to be very powerful in the hands of someone that knows how to really use them properly, but otherwise might not be as powerful as they should be. And in this case, there are a few characters in this game, if I scroll down this list, that you guys are going to see and be like, yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about, because there are generally just a few examples of high skill cap characters in this game that are definitely going to be dominant in the right hands, and we don't know exactly what those teams are going to look like just yet. So I would imagine that when this tournament rolls around, we are going to see them pop up towards the top of the pack. They're probably not going to lose any matches. They're probably going to get to Las Vegas and absolutely destroy the competition in general with them. So yeah, just a bit of a disclaimer. I don't know how to predict the future. If any of you guys figured that out, please let me know, because it just helped me out so much with these videos. But I will say that this is just my educated guess. This is just my informed predictions on generally how I think the meta is going to shake out. I think we're going to see a lot of regen towards the top. There are going to be the other 3 teams I mentioned sprinkled in, but that's probably mostly going to be it. There are other specific examples of characters that have a high skill cap that we may see a lot of in the tournament, but we just don't know what their teams are going to look like yet. You guys probably have seen them in my videos quite a few times. You know, people that absolutely destroy me or destroy other players with particular teams that maybe don't look very good on the surface, but have unique abilities that make them viable. And we just don't know how that's going to shake out just yet. So hopefully this is how generally things look, and you guys can take this advice and use it well. I really, really hope that you guys have great luck when you get into these matches. It's going to be very high stakes, very, very fun, and I hope at least one of us can make it all the way to Las Vegas. That would be absolutely fantastic. Again, please let me know what you think of today's video, though. I really want to know what you think of all of these team comps. Do you think there's going to be another team that's very dominant? I think the female warrior tag team might also make a splash, but at the same time, I don't know if it's going to be quite as ridiculous as the rest of the teams that we have seen on this particular video that I've sort of outlined. You know, I feel like it might be dominant in the sense that it's going to take out the average Saiyan team pretty easily, but will it take out the Lineage Evil team? Will it take out Regen team? I don't know about that, man. I've lost matches as a Lineage of Evil team against the female warrior tag team, but I've won more than I've lost for sure. I have to say, against Regen, it's not quite the same. So definitely interested to see how everything shakes out there. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you very soon for the next one. Till then, peace.